Internet Unwind.
My buddy, Internet Unwind.
Internet Unwind's video.
Internet Unwind did a great video about this.
Internet Unwind, dude. Good to see you here, brother.
Internet Unwind, fuck off.
You're an asshole, Internet Unwind. I never fucking liked you. I always lie.
All right, I forgot how short that intro is. One second, let me tweet out the stream real fast because I whiffed that one. Let me just copy the link here. Link below. All right, first of all, I will say that the title and all of the stream is obviously a little bit of an exaggeration, to say the least. But from what I've seen, it looks like it's somewhat valid. It's an exaggeration, but possibly not as much of an exaggeration as it sounds. All right, so let's go ahead and hop right into it. Nobody's here yet. Nobody's going to be here for a little while, probably. My son is asleep. Well, supposed to be asleep behind me, but I think he's still awake right now. Somehow I ended up with 4 tabs of my stream open. That was weird. All right, so basically, everybody that's going to see this probably has already been aware that there was some issues with Epic Games, who owns Fortnite. There's been a lot of lawsuits actually about Fortnite because over the years they've had controversies because of, well, this person started doing this type of dance. It became popular, and then they put that dance in the game, and they didn't give credit to the person who started doing the dance. Yada, 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 blah, blah. All that crap. So, what's the new lawsuit? Well, a couple days ago, I saw, maybe a week ago, I saw an article circulating on Facebook and on Twitter about how apparently a group of parents were suing Epic Games because their children were addicted to Fortnite and would play it for long periods of time. And they would start acting bad when told to turn it off, this, that, and the other thing. That we've heard the story a million times before. Most people hear that story and they assume, oh, so they're not very smart parents. They're not actually parenting. They plop their kids down in front of a computer, a Switch, a gaming console, or a cell phone, whatever, and have that keep them occupied for the whole day. And then they don't check on their kid. And then they wonder, why's my kid got an attitude? I haven't talked to him all day, but whatever. And the reality is, because no one's paying attention to the kid just does whatever the kid wants to do. That should be obvious. Apparently it's not. So, this is another case of parents getting mad, apparently, that their kid is not behaving how they want them to behave, and then suing over that. That's not good. So that's a bad precedent if they win. And unfortunately, it looks like some have now won. And it's not a small amount either. It's a pretty large amount. So here's what we're going over right now. Jake Lucky, like him or not, this information is apparently legit. Fortnite and Epic Games will have to pay an unprecedented $520 million in relief funds after the FTC found them guilty of tricking users into making purchases. I'm not sure how you trick someone into making purchases, but okay. Collecting data from children without parental consent. That one I'm not quite sure about. I'm not sure what data they're collecting. We're going to find out in a minute. And having default settings that harmed both children and teens. Settings in a video game harmed teenagers and children. First of all, I want to see something real quick. Epic Games ESRB. You can go to the ESRB, enter game title, Fortnite. Let's see. It's rated teen for violence, so realistically your kids aren't supposed to be playing it anyway, only your teens. For violence. I'm actually surprised it's violence and not M for violence, really. Because online interactions can't be rated because they don't know what's going to be there, so they can't really, Teddy serves him right for playing Fortnite. Yeah, it's not great. I don't know why the chat's broken. Let me try and fix the chat real quick. The scaling or whatever on the chat is off. Where is it? There it is. Gotta fix that real quick because it's not showing the part of the chat that I want shown. I don't know. I've had to fix this every single stream so far. Every stream on this channel, I've had to fix this stupid chat window size. All right, that looks good enough. But anyway, yeah, I don't know about that, Teddy. Here's the thing that really bothers me. There's some risk here for any online shooter, actually any online game even, because. All right, so before we jump into this, here I'll explain what my concern is. All right, because apparently collecting data from children. What data does Fortnite collect? Your username? There's not a whole lot of data that they collect. I saw something mentioned somewhere about voice chat. So if the whole thing about data collection is the fact that there is chat in-game and voice chat, because you can send messages, and that is considered collecting data on children, then the whole gaming industry could be just screwed up. We could be looking at a lot of stuff getting messed up. Voice chat's going away. Discord may not be able to exist anymore without putting some kind of restrictions in place. Because the big thing with YouTube when they got hit was that they were knowingly avoiding dealing with the problem. Right? That's why they got hit with COPPA. Because they knew and they did not do anything about it. They actively avoided dealing with it. But how are the game companies supposed to vet this information? How are game companies supposed to change things? I don't think it's going to be good for us. Imagine having to put your license in to be able to play Call of Duty or Minecraft because there's in-game chat. This includes using dark patterns, quote unquote, to manipulate users into making unintended purchases. I and many others initially read this and thought it meant design, like they were using dark images and dark backgrounds and things to make things appealing to kids, draw them. But I'm starting to think what they meant was creating a sense of urgency to buy things because you have a time limit to buy something before it falls out of the store, which is idiotic. That's imbecilic if that's the actual logic. And I can't believe from what I'm reading about this, that the court actually let this pass this way, and let them lose this lawsuit because this is insane. But using dark patterns to manipulate users into making unintended purchases. How are they making unintended? That means that they didn't know they were making a purchase. I'm not sure I believe that. Because I've played the game and everything was pretty clear. You were buying something. You still have to put in a credit card to have access to money in the game. You have to put money into the game to get the in-game money to buy anything with the in-game money. So someone had to put the card in there. Allowing children to purchase things such as V-Bucks without parental or cardholder consent. They put the card in the game. They consented to their child using it. Seems messed up. Seems fucked up. But when you're letting kids play games that have purchases, microtransactions, and all that stuff, you are running a risk. Do not let your kids have access to your cards. Do not let your kids have access to your money. It's stupid, and parents used to know this. I don't know why this is suddenly a new thing where, like, parents just feel like, well, I don't really have to babysit my kids at all. They can just do whatever they want, and then I'll just blame everyone else for them messing things up. And having having default on voice and text, which allowed easier harassment of new users. So because when you start playing the game, you immediately have voice chat enabled, they're enabling harassment. They're also enabling people to make friends. But guess that's not the other side of that coin. Whenever you walk out of your house, you're also opening yourself up to harassment. But I guess we should not leave our houses now too, right? I know, it's a dumb example, but my point is all of these are dumb examples. All of these are stupid, ridiculous, garbage arguments to be made, and I can't believe a court actually let this pass. And the fact that even Nintendo games have a form of voice chat. Like, Nintendo has a specific app and devices and stuff so that you can use your phone to voice chat with people during the game. So now, I guess, anything goes. Anything a game company does or anything now that involves more than one person on a player side of things. Like, can you imagine, like, I was playing Tekken, and they kept sweeping my legs and, like, not letting me get up, and that was a form of harassment. I felt bullied. And suing over that? At this point, it feels like they could win that lawsuit. Epic Games has responded and added their resolutions to this. All right, so we'll take a look at that after we look at the actual FTC thing. I'm hoping this is not going to be okay. Good, it's not like legalese. This is an actual like press release here. Oh, I just remembered. I got a reminder. Yeah, I don't have a whole lot of mods on any of my stuff. Zubat is one of the few reliable moderators. Fortnite video game maker Epic Games to pay more than $500 million over FTC allegations of privacy violations and unwanted charges. That's funny. Epic will pay $275 million penalties for violating child privacy laws and change default privacy settings, and pay $245 million in refunds for tricking users into making unwanted charges. I can't wait to hear how this is justified. The Federal Trade Commission has secured, and by the way, I am completely open to admitting I was wrong. I'm having a very hard time imagining a scenario where this is going to sound justified, but if they make a solid argument, then I believe I will fully admit that I was wrong and they had a valid argument. The Federal Trade Commission has secured agreements requiring, okay, we just read that, pay a total of $520 million in relief over allegations. It's weird they're calling them allegations. The company violated child online privacy. Violated COPPA. I knew it. It was literally COPPA. It wasn't just similar stuff that they were arguing. It was actually COPPA. And deployed design tricks. They literally say it was design tricks, known as dark patterns, to dupe millions of players into making unintentional purchases. I cannot wait to read what the logic is behind this. All right, FTC action against Epic involves two separate record-breaking settlements. Yeah, that's not a good thing in this case. As part of a proposed federal court order filed by the Department of Justice on behalf of the FTC, $275 million monetary for violating COPPA rule, largest penalty ever obtained with an FTC rule, violating an FTC rule. Additionally, in a first-of-its-kind provision, Epic will be required to adopt strong privacy settings for children and teens. So they're going to have to actually, like, make them... How are they going to... Okay, how are they going to verify their age? They don't even have licenses at that age to use, so you can't even base it on a license number. This is bad. This is bad because this means every game is going to have to abide by these rules and restrictions based on, like, the COPPA rules, which have not been refined, if I remember correctly, since, like, the early 2000s, as I understand it, which means that it's kind of not even valid anymore. Ensuring voice and text communications are turned off by default. As if they can't go into the settings and turn them back on. Jesus, this is so dumb. Under a separate proposed administrative order, Epic will pay $245 million to refund customers for its dark patterns and billing practices, which is the FTC's largest refund amount in a gaming case and its largest administrative order in history. As our complaint notes, Epic used privacy-invasive default settings and deceptive interfaces that tricked Fortnite users, including teenagers and children, said FTC Chair Lena. The FTC chair went along with this? Protecting the public, and especially the children, from online privacy invasions and dark patterns is a top priority for the Commission. And these enforcement actions make it clear to businesses that the FTC is cracking down on these unlawful practices. So I guess, like, if you give a kid a cell phone now, is Xfinity going to also have to deal with the same crackdown because they have a cell phone from Comcast or Verizon? Because it was vocal communication that they were able to call out to somebody and talk to somebody with voice and text. I don't understand how this logic makes any sense. And granted, I'm not educated on it in a legalese sense, so I don't know. Maybe it makes sense to somebody out there, but I'm really having a hard time understanding how that could be rational, that could be logical, and that could be reasonable. Like FaceTime on your phone. Use FaceTime on your phone. How is that okay? But voice chat in Call of Duty is a violation. That seems silly. That seems illogical, silly, and it seems like it's based on people's paranoia about video games being dangerous. If there were kids being kidnapped because they were, like, setting up meetups with people via the game, the stream's not public. What do you mean it's not public? Why did it go back to unlisted? It was public earlier. All right, thanks for pointing that out. It's public now. I have the link up on Twitter, so people can join from Twitter and stuff for now. That's really strange. I don't know why it switched back to unlisted. But thanks for pointing that out. Anyway, so protecting the public. Okay, we already read that. The Justice Department takes very seriously its mission to protect consumers' data privacy and data privacy rights, said Associate Attorney General Vanita. Isn't that the same person they just mentioned? No, Lena. Okay. Vanita Gupta. This proposed order sends a message to all online providers that collecting children's personal information without parental consent will not be tolerated. What personal information is being collected? They create a username and you use an email to base it. So is it the fact that they put in an email address? What personal information is being collected? Epic's video game Fortnite is generally free to download, and play, but charges users for in-game items such as costumes and dance moves. The game has more than 400 million users worldwide. The FTC alleged that in two separate complaints in North Carolina, that North Carolina-based Epic engaged in several unlawful practices. Epic put children and teens at risk in its lax privacy practices and cost consumers millions in illegal charges through the use of dark patterns. Okay, I'm waiting for when they actually explain what they mean by any of these, in quotes, terms. Under the proposed orders announced today, the company were required to change default settings and return millions to consumers and pay a record-breaking penalty for privacy abuses. Okay. Violated COPPA by failing to notify parents to obtain consent. The FTC alleged that Epic was aware that many children were playing Fortnite, as shown through several surveys of users. The licensing and marketing of Fortnite toys and merchandise, player support, and other company communications, and collected personal data from children without first obtaining parents' verifiable consent. How do you obtain verifiable consent from a parent, by the way? Do they have to give you their license to say, yeah, this is me? The company also required parents who requested that their children's personal information be deleted to jump through unreasonable hoops, sometimes failed to honor such requests. I'm confused. What information? If that information would require deleting their account, I get why they would be hesitant to delete their accounts, because anybody could be just claiming, "Hey, my child shouldn't be playing this game. I'm their parent. Can you delete this?" What information is being stored? Is it that they hit instead of on your iPhone, right? They're playing on their iPhone. Let's say this. Maybe it's they're playing on their iPhone, and instead of hitting Ask App not to track, they hit Ask App to track. Allow app to track. Is that what it is? Is that what it is? They hit the wrong button? Because that was prompting, and the wrong person clicked it, I guess. What data is there? What data is there that's being collected? The FTC alleged that Epic violated COPPA rule by collecting personal information. Okay, I'm still waiting for what? A child-directed online service. Without notifying their parents or obtaining their parents' verifiable consent, Epic also activation against practices, maybe real-time voice. Wait. The FTC's acts prohibition against unfair practices by enabling real-time voice and text chat communications for children and teens by default. So literally, if they would have made it not by default on, that is the dumbest thing I've ever heard. Because the kids can go and turn it back on, and then the parents are still going to complain about the exact same thing. Epic settings enable live on by default text and video voice communications for users. The FTC alleges that these default settings, along with Epic's role in matching children and teens with strangers to play Fortnite together, matchmaking itself is considered predatory practice. Harms children and teens. So now. Are we going to have age brackets for online gaming? I can't play Fortnite with, my cousin who's 15. Hey, what's up, Har? Okay. I'll summarize real quick. So we're going through the Federal Trade Commission's release about what happened with the Epic lawsuit. And so far here, I'll read the two things that we've already covered. They violated COPPA. I was hoping it wasn't going to literally be COPPA, but it's actually COPPA. By failing to notify parents to obtain consent. The FTC alleged that Epic was aware that many children were playing Fortnite because they have toys, games, and all this other stuff that is based on Fortnite. Between that and the purchases of the merchandise at different sizes, and kids, kids are buying it, clearly kids are into it and liking it, and the other company communications and collected personal data from children without first obtaining parents' verifiable consent. What information? I still have no clue. I have not seen anywhere in here where it's explained what kind of personal information could have been gleaned from Fortnite. I believe when I signed up for Fortnite, it was username, email. They might ask for your real name. Is it that the real name is in there? I don't know. I don't know. What that's part of the profile setup process. That's on every single fucking website though. So I have no idea. Anyway, secondly, voice and text chat. And this one really pissed me off. This is what I was reading when you came in. Epic's settings enable live on by default voice and text communications for users. The FTC alleges that these default settings, because they were turned on by default instead of turned off, along with Epic's role in matchmaking children's and teens with strangers to play. They're arguing that matchmaking itself is harmful to children and predatory. Matchmaking, randomized matchmaking, is predatory. I guess we can't play. I guess kids and adults can't all play Fortnite. Hey Jake, correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't Epic get in trouble a few years ago for data mining people's Steam profile or something like that with it? I don't think so. Fortnite's never been on Steam. I don't remember that. I remember they had a lawsuit about a year and a half ago, 2 years ago with Apple because Apple was charging like a weird additional tax fee on top of everything else, and it was way higher than everybody else's or something. So they were going after Apple for being forced to comply with ridiculous third-party sales restrictions or something like that. Epic employees expressed concern about its default settings as early as 2017. Wait, Epic employees expressed concern about its default settings as early as 2017. So they knew that this was illegal. Epic employees urged the company to change the default setting to require users to opt in for voice chat, citing concern about the impact on children in particular. I don't understand how that's that harmful to kids. Oh, you can talk to people. Hooray! Because people you might hear some no-no words or something. The fact that it's on by default doesn't change that they can go in and turn it on themselves later. Even as a kid, I would go in and play with settings on every game I got. I didn't know what any of them did, but I would go and turn them on. And then if I wanted to know what something did, I'd Google it. Do you think kids aren't doing that today still? Kids are downloading mods and modding games themselves. You think they're not turning on voice chat after you turn it off? Despite this and reports that the children had been harassed, including sexually, while playing the game, you gotta wonder what. Okay, it was accusations with most. Okay, gotcha. They're claiming that they were sexually harassed, among other types of harassment in game. But I have to wonder, with how everything else is worded in this, what are they talking about? Are they talking about like one kid to another, like bullying type harassment, or are they talking about like actually like actual like valid like messed up things? I don't know. The company resisted turning off on default. This is the only thing. This is a stupid argument to me, but it's the only thing is that they like the employees had already acknowledged that it was a problem. And while it eventually added a button allowing users to turn off voice chat, Epic made it difficult for users to find. How? You go to the settings and turn it off. I did it multiple times because I went in, turned it off because I didn't want to deal with all the little kids making noise. Turned it back on one time because I was like, I'll try and talk to people in Fortnite again. And then people were just playing music into their mics. So I turned it back off again. It's in the settings. You just go to your settings, and it's right there under sound. In addition to paying record civil penalty. I can't speak tonight. Which goes to the U.S. Treasury for violating the copper rule. Yeah, I gotta love that. Gotta love they're just paying the government like $250 million for the government saying, yeah, we don't like that you did this. Doesn't change anything for anybody else, but it just seems silly. Will prohibit Epic from enabling voice and text communications for children and teens unless parents of users under 13 or teenagers. See here now there's all these. This doesn't make any sense. How is anyone supposed to know if the people playing the game are under or over 13? How is anyone supposed to know that the parents are also? Is it just going to be like Pornhub and all these other different sites where like you go there and then it says, "Are you over this age?" and they just click yes? Is that what's going to happen? Because I feel like that's what's going to happen. Or teenage users or their parents must provide their affirmative consent through a privacy setting. Epic must delete personal information previously collected from Fortnite users in violation of the copper rule. Parental notice and consent requirements unless the company obtains parental consent to retain such data or the user identifies as 13 or older through a neutral age gate. I can't wait to see how they're going to try and implement age gating. It's so stupid. Almost none of this is actually going to change anything. And even if they put something in place, it's going to be gamed. It's going to be broken, and you can get around it. It's almost all for show. In addition, Epic must establish a comprehensive privacy program that addresses the problems identified in the FTC's complaint and obtain regular, independent audits. So they're going to have to constantly audit the system to make sure that no one's getting through the cracks. The commission voted 4-0 to refer the civil penalty complaint and proposed federal order to the Department of Justice. And the Department of Justice filed the complaint and stipulated order in the U.S. District Court for the... Okay, this is all, I guess, standard practice. Illegal dark patterns. Okay, this is what I wanted to hear. I wanted to hear what illegal dark patterns are. What are the illegal dark design patterns that they use to manipulate and milk money out of people that they didn't know they were spending? The FTC alleged that Epic used dark patterns to trick players into making unwanted purchases and let children rack up unauthorized charges without any parental involvement. Used dark patterns to trick users into making purchases. The company deployed a variety of dark patterns. I hate how much they reiterate things they've already said. Aimed at getting consumers of all ages to make unintended in-game purchases. How? Fortnite's counterintuitive, inconsistent, and confusing button configuration led players to incur unwanted charges based on the press of a single button. So they're arguing on consoles. It was made too easy to make purchases you didn't mean to make. How? What? You still have to have a card registered. Once you know how the system works, you don't make a mistake like that again. These kids know how to play these games. They knew exactly what they were doing. I mean, am I crazy? That does not make any sense to me. Yeah, none of this makes sense to me. Players could be charged with attempting. Okay. Charge based on a button. For example, players could be charged while attempting to wake the game from sleep mode, while the game was on a loading screen, or by pressing an adjacent button while attempting to simply preview an item. See, on PC, every time I try to buy something, it prompts me with a second screen to make a purchase. So I still have to make another purchase. I still have to make the choice, even after accidentally accessing the purchase screen. I still have to choose to purchase it. Yeah. Yes, Reese. It should be super simple to cancel it. Like, okay, you know what? Here, just just to prove my point, all right? Let's load up Fortnite. And it's entirely possible it works a little bit different on consoles. But I can't imagine that on PC they added a whole different screen that doesn't exist for that specific use case of making sure accidental purchases don't happen. By the way, I will probably, while we're waiting for this to load up, I'm going to, as I have been doing lately, I'm going to do a Pokemon stream on Twitch after this stream. I need to add my Twitch link to the info under to the description of these. This sounds like some kid made $1,000 purchase on mommy's credit card and made an excuse to buy that their parents bought. See, that's part of the problem. That's part of the problem, is that that's what it sounds like to me as well. And I'm seeing a lot of consistency with this garbage. This is how a lot of it's coming off. I'm actually surprised I haven't seen hardly anybody talking about this today. Because these things set like concerning precedents, if you ask me, for gaming industry. Minecraft text chat is on by default. So is Minecraft going to get dinged now? Okay, so let's go to the item shop. Okay, let's just pick something here that, just in case I accidentally buy it, I'd be okay with buying. What is this? Lachlan. No idea. Just a YouTuber. Ninja Bundle, Ali A. Mr. Beast. I don't follow Academia. All right. I kind of don't care about any of those. Let's go with all right, let's do Mr. Beast, okay? If I click on this, is it going to buy it? No, it doesn't. And look, I need to get V-Bucks. I have to click on 3 or 4 things to get to the point where I can purchase anything. So I would love to know what it is. Wrong screen. I would love to know what it is that these kids were hitting that pressed through all of those screens, and then on top of that, I want to know what button they pushed that went in the other room, grabbed their parents' credit card, and put it in their device. That'd be some really interesting info to learn. I would really love to know how they did that. Yeah, we can link up. For sure. We can link up. Yeah, because this is just nuts to me. Charge account holders without authorization. Children and other users who play Fortnite can purchase in-game content such as cosmetics and battle passes using Fortnite's V-Bucks. Up until 2018, Epic allowed children to purchase V-Bucks by simply pressing buttons without requiring any parental or card holder action. Also, what's up, Looney? Or consent. Some parents complained that their children had racked up hundreds of dollars in charges before they realized Epic had charged their credit card without their consent. FTC had brought similar cases against companies such as Amazon, Apple, and Google for billing consumers millions of dollars for in-app purchases made by children while playing the mobile app games without obtaining their parents' consent. But again, that's them letting their... How are these lawsuits actually going through? This is still a matter of giving your kid a credit card, like an unlimited amount of money to a kid that age, and saying, go buck wild. Buy everything you want. And I have one example that we're going to talk about that I argued with on Twitter earlier today. I'm going to keep doing this like it's a maraca. Blocked access to purchase content. FTC alleged that Epic locked the accounts of customers who disputed unauthorized purchases with their credit card companies because those customers whose accounts have been locked lose access to all the content they have purchased, which can total thousands of dollars. Even when Epic agreed to unlock an account, consumers were warned that they could be banned for life if they disputed any future charges. I'm not surprised by that. I'm not surprised that they were warned that they might be, have your account banned, because now you are actively then costing them money to work on these disputes. If you're not going to take the proactive precautions that you need to take to not allow your kid to make these purchases, then you're irresponsible and you're costing them money. Epic ignored more than 1 million user complaints and repeated. Okay, I feel like that's an exaggeration. Out of all the millions and millions of players, I got the feeling that that's probably like 100,000 at most that were multiple refiles. And repeated employee concerns about huge numbers of users who are being wrongfully charged. In fact, it's the parents' fault. Don't give your kids a credit card. In fact, Epic's changes only made the problem worse, the FTC alleged. Using internal testing, Epic purposefully obscured cancel and refund features to make them more difficult to find. How? How and why would they do that? The only thing I can think of is that people were buying things they were not supposed to, testing it out, and then refunding it, hoping their parents wouldn't find out. Using it like a test feature. Like, do I like this? Do I not like it? Am I going to use this again? Probably not. I'm not going to keep it. And at that point, they're paying credit card fees because they're being charged for every purchase. This is all common business stuff. This is like every store deals with that kind of thing. Well, here's the thing. They had a part of the government that was on their side. The FTC loves getting involved in this shit. I think the FTC has gone after games before for children's safety, quote unquote. The FCC used to remember there was a whole episode of Family Guy about the FCC. I don't like Epic Games mainly because of the game store and the Fortnite oversaturation. But if we want to take Epic down, I'm sure there's like a million better ways to do so. See, that's the thing, is the Epic has actually made good moves within the industry. Like they fought Steam a bit, they fought Apple a bit. Like they fought a couple different companies with lawsuits and stuff to make positive changes. Unless we're talking about purchasing the wrong thing with V-Bucks and they meant to buy. I had no idea. See that, and that's just it. Well, this is actually from the FTC. They're just saying what they found Epic was wrong in, basically. And we're almost done it. The commission voted, as part of the proposed administrative order with FTC over the company's unlawful business practices, which seem like they're outdated to me, if you ask me. But Epic must pay $245 million, which will be used to provide refunds to customers. In addition, the order prohibits Epic from charging consumers through the use of dark patterns. I still don't know what they are. They said they were going to explain it. Oh, the example they gave was waking the game from sleep. But as we just looked at, it would take like 4 or 5 presses of buttons to access a purchase. Which just doesn't make any sense to me that would be that doesn't make any sense as a viable way of going after them. That seems ridiculous to me. In addition, the order prohibits Epic from charging consumers through the use of dark patterns or from otherwise charging consumers without obtaining their affirmative consent. I feel like I was asked for my consent to make a purchase multiple times when I just exhibited that. The order also bars them from blocking consumers from accessing their accounts for disputing unauthorized charges. So they're not even allowed to ban people for being a problematic user. Like, you're allowed to ban people from your Target store. You're allowed to ban people from your store for making a big fuss about things and being a problematic customer and stuff. You're allowed to kick them out of the store and say, "Yeah, we we are not allowing you in the store anymore. You're banned from the premises." You're allowed to do that, but they're not allowed to do that with their online business. That seems kind of silly to me. Especially because I really don't think it's because they were complaining that they wanted a refund. It sounds more like it was probably a matter of like, look, this is thousands of dollars, and they're claiming this is the problem, and it's going to happen again because they let it happen the first time. The FTC will publish a description of the consent agreement package in the Federal Register soon. The agreement will be subject to public comment for 30 days after publication in the Federal Register, after which the Commission will decide whether or to make the proposed consent order final. Instruction for filing comments will appear in the published notice. Once processed, comments will be posted on regulations.gov. The Commission issues administrative complaint when it has reason to believe that the law has been violated or is being violated, and it appears to the Commission that a proceeding is in the public interest. When the Commission issues a consent order on a final basis, it carries the force of the law with respect to future actions. Each violation of such an order may result in a penalty of up to $46,000. So, that's not good and doesn't give me a whole lot of hope for how things are going to go moving forward. I'm not going to lie. I'm really not pumped to see that at all. Good news, we also have Epic's side of this. We'll try and skim this a little more than read the whole thing last time. They reached a settlement with them. So this was a settlement. They wanted to take more from Epic over this, which is nuts. And by the way, I saw people complaining on Twitter and stuff like, I can't believe people are mad about this. I mean, they're like an $8 billion company. They made like $8 billion this year. Yeah, and that means that like what's half of a billion? I don't know what the math is on that, but they took half of a billion in fees and refunds for this shit. So that leaves them with $7.5 billion, and half of that's probably going to taxes and other business issues. How much of it's going to licensing? How much of it they're paying through the nose for a lot of this stuff too. It's not like this is a cheap business. They might have made that much money. Doesn't mean that they get like they're just walking away with a cool $8 billion. In it, Epic will pay $245 million to the FTC and $275 million to the FTC. No developer creates a game with the intention of ending up here. The video game industry is a place of fast-moving innovation where player expectations are high and new ideas are paramount. Statutes written decades ago don't specify how gaming ecosystems should operate. Okay, that's a little bit of a cop-out because we know that they knew that some of these things were actually violations. But let's move on. The laws have not changed, but their application has evolved, and longstanding industry practices are no longer enough. We accept this agreement because we want Epic to be at the forefront of consumer protection and provide the best experience for our players. Over the past few years, we've been making changes to ensure our ecosystem meets the expectations of our players and regulators, which we hope will be a helpful guide for others in our industry. The laws need to be reshaped, though. Some of them are just silly. You can't use voice chat or text chat as a child or as a teenager. That just seems goofy to me. Or, well, sorry, no, you're allowed to use it, but you have to turn it on yourself. That's how it works. Silly. See, that's my concern. So much like Minecraft. Minecraft could have its text chat taken away because they don't have anything for age gating or anything in there. So they're gonna have to now age gate the game, and then also make it so that you can't you have to turn on voice chat or text chat. I guess that just seems silly. Like, does Discord have any rules like that we know about? As far as I know, there's nothing in Discord. So is Discord going to get hit with a huge fine for allowing kids to talk? There's a good possibility. And I doubt they have that many millions of dollars laying around for Discord to just pay a massive fee. Payments and refunds. All game developers should rethink steps they've taken to simplify payment flows in favor of practices that that provide the largest amount of clarity to players when they make purchase decisions. Saving payment information by default is a common way to streamline the checkout process, so players do not have to re-enter their payment information every time they make a purchase. We've agreed with the FTC to change this practice. We now offer an explicit yes or no choice to save payment information. Pushing a button to complete a purchase. See, by the way, when I was growing up, this is one of the reasons we bought cards instead of using credit cards. So your payment information wasn't linked. It's so easy to do. You buy a code card or a digital code card, which is just a code online, but the parents aren't doing the research. They're not doing their due diligence into what they're buying, into what they're giving their kid access to. They're not paying attention. The parents are largely at fault here. Pushing a button to complete a purchase is one of the most commonly used and easiest mechanics to complete online purchases. Games should go above and beyond to make sure players even more clearly understand when they're making a purchase with real money or virtual currencies to prevent accidental purchases. We don't want players to pay for something that they did not intend to. Fortnite has a refund token system and an undo purchase system, but now we've gone further. We've updated our payment flows with a hold to purchase mechanic that reconfirms a player's intent to buy as an additional safeguard to prevent unintended purchases alongside instant payment. Okay, so they've already now added another screen in the payment process. Of course they're not, Jake. Remember, the parents sit there and think that the platform is responsible for raising their kids. Yeah, these are the same parents that put their kids in front of YouTube and just say, hey, go at it, have a ball. Children's privacy. Developers who create teen or mature-rated game can no longer assume that it won't be deemed directed at children, according to the United States Children's Online Privacy Protection Act, COPPA. Younger players who are interested in higher-rated games can find ways to access them. Developers should proactively create age-appropriate ways for players to enjoy their games. Okay. Fortnite is rated teen and directed at an older teen and college audience. We recently rolled out cabined? I don't know what that means. Accounts. A new type of account that provides tailored experience that is safe and inclusive for younger players. Players under 13 or their country's age of digital consent, whichever is higher. Well, that's interesting because if the goal is like, well, you have to be your age of consent or your digital consent or whatever. So 13-year-olds here are already playing with like 16-year-olds in another country. That's interesting because that seems like it's going to be a problem in both countries. See, that's the thing. A lot of people have like this really negative view of Epic because, first of all, Fortnite is such a meme. Secondly, Epic brings in so much money, at least on the surface, for the game. But a lot of people don't think about the fact that they pay licensing fees for all these crazy characters, and they have to pay licensing fees to retain the ability to use those characters. So if those characters ever if they ever stop paying those licensing fees, unless they've really worked it out really well with their contracts, to where they can retain those characters forever, like Goku and Vegeta, if they stop paying licensing fees, in most circumstances, those characters have to come out of the game. So anyone that bought those characters will get those characters revoked because the licensing agreement has expired. That's very possible unless their contracts explicitly state that the characters have to stay in the game after whatever period of time that they were contracted for. I don't know what the specifics are around their contract stuff, but that's how licensing works. Like that's why Disney can't make Hulk movies because Universal, I think it was, still owns the Universal, has the rights to making Hulk movies, stuff like that. Like there's restrictions around this stuff. They have to pay licensing fees. While game developers may be familiar with COPPA, they may not be aware of its global implication. It's just one of the many regulations addressing children's privacy around the world, which are expanding to include teens. So they're expanding COPPA now to protect teens also. Quote-unquote protect, because some of this is really not helping that much. This means game developers should expand their youth protections to include players under 18. In September, we implemented a high privacy default setting for players who were under the age of 18. Chat defaults to nobody. Privacy profile details hidden to default, or default to hidden. Parties may default to invite only, and personalized recommendations are turned off. Players under 16 also have the mature language filter defaulted on for text chat. Enhancing Fortnite over time. There has never been a pay-to-win or pay-to-progress mechanics in player versus player experiences in Fortnite, and we eliminated paid random item loot boxes in Fortnite in Save the World in 2019. All right, so in summary of the payment and refund features that are live in Fortnite today include no pay-to-win or pay-to-progress mechanics in player versus player experiences, no paid or random loot boxes since 2019, and no gambling ever. A return ticket system that enables self-service refunds on eligible goods without a need to specify a reason. So they've even made it so you don't even need to specify. Epic should take over Halo Infinite would go real well. It might actually. Also, the article is on the screen. Oh, gotcha. Instant cancellations of cosmetic purchases made with V-Bucks with recently extended cancellation window. So they've extended the window. A hold to purchase mechanic for all in-game purchases in Fortnite. Which I feel like that's already been an element. I feel like I've had to hold my mouse down for a lot of purchases for a while now. An updated chargeback policy, an explicit yes or no choice to save payment information. Some of the features for younger players and their parents include parental controls that are easily accessible in the Fortnite lobby menu and Epic account portal. So they've had to make everything easier because parents weren't smart enough to access it. That's what I'm getting from this. Because these things already existed. They've had to make them super obvious because people weren't smart enough to actually find the privacy settings. Parental controls that include the option to require a PIN, send and accept friend requests, enable parents to authorize purchases before they are made. So they have to literally approve every friend you make. All right, I can't necessarily imagine making my kid do that. I mean, he's only 5 now, but a daily spending limit for players under the age of 13. That one makes sense, but I feel like that one just makes sense in general. Granular privacy options for chat, which include everybody, friends and teammates, friends. Okay, I feel like that already kind of exists. I think in most of the games anyway. Camid account. I still don't know what this word is. Cabined. accounts that provide tailored experience that is safe and inclusive for younger players while they wait for parental consent. Settings default to the highest privacy option for players under the age of 18, including voice and text to default to nobody. But again, that's all depending on whether or not they actually, follow the rules on identifying themselves. So, now, we're going to wrap this up in a couple of minutes and head over to Twitch. But what we're going to wrap up here with is a wild interaction I had with somebody while I was talking about this today. Because, unsurprisingly, there's a bunch of what I call wine moms that are defending this because it happened to me. My kid took my credit card and made purchases without my authorization. So of course they agree because their kid took their credit card. This is hilarious though. Okay? So this person said something. This person said that I'll read it because they replied directly to it. Ain't nobody tricking little Timmy into putting his mom's credit card info and accidentally, quote unquote, buying all the levels on his battle pass. Kind of fucked way of thinking. I told my son many times about how money works, and it still didn't matter. He spent over $400 in one day. I didn't even know he was talking about because I was happily watching TV, and he's like, Mom, I got you a dragon. I'm like, okay, not thinking. That sounds like a her problem, doesn't it? Your kid took your credit card and bought things without your permission. That's just an active problem because of your kid, not you. 407 likes. There are 407 people agreeing with this. I said you don't have to have a credit card filed with the game to play it. Kind of fucked for you to blame the company for your child stealing your credit card. Is it still the company's fault if they went on Amazon, bought $400 of Legos, or is it your fault then? It's the company's fault if they refuse to send the money back. Interesting. I said it's the parents' fault the kid had access to the money before they were responsible enough to have access to it. She's admitting it to be intentionally angry. Exactly. It's a parent's fault the kid had access to the money before they were responsible enough to have access to it. And then I pointed this out. She posted this on Twitter while she was getting heat for this. This is what people who don't have kids think parenting is. Well, I've got a kid, and I don't do this, but I'm smart enough to know that my kid is not responsible enough for money. Posting this is hilarious because Fortnite is digital purchase based. Your child had access to your card, or you put in the info where he could use it, and it didn't put protections in place. It doesn't take a helicopter parent to hide their cards and lock purchases behind passwords. She said, my card in my wallet and in my purse, so I never gave him access. I said your child had access. I didn't say you gave him access. Your child had access. You left it where he could get it. Y'all assume I did just because I said I taught him the value of money and not stealing. Y'all assume everything aside from asking questions. I asked multiple questions in here that she didn't answer, by the way. But I said nothing was assumed. You need access to money to spend the money. So how did they spend it then? You said your kid did the same thing. How is that an assumption on other people's part when you said it happened? This is how they continue to justify things to themselves and rationalize to themselves how they're a victim. No, so nothing was assumed. I said you said something happened, and now it's an assumption others made that it happened. I'm seeing a pattern of you putting blame on others for things or errors you make. I don't put the blame on anyone. It is what it is, and life moves on. I didn't give him access. He took it. It's not blame. It's a fact. We both had to move on. Because they refused to give the money back. They refused to give the money back. This is going to come in very important in a second. So you left your card where your child could get it. Your child took the card and spent the money because he knew how to use your credit card, which, by the way, kids don't know how to innately just use a credit card. So the kid knew exactly what he was doing. He had to have looked up how to use it, went and stole her credit card when she wasn't looking, and they made a bunch of purchases. But you literally said it was the company's fault if they don't refund you the money. It's the company's fault if they refuse to send the money back. Left my card in my wallet in my purse. I'm not blaming the company, but I am saying that they should hold accountable if they're selfish enough not to refund my money, but to me, that I worked for. Please buy a new brain. LMFAO, you want to undo for leaving your card where your kid could get it and didn't think him saying he was getting you things was a little concerning or get up the check. Buy yourself a new brain, because that hasn't happened to one of the two of us, because one of us planned. No, if I wanted an undo, he wouldn't have learned his lesson. And I comment under this, never said I was going to try and get my money back. But since you brought it up, I guess I should. She never even tried to get a refund, according to herself now. They refused to give my money back. By the way, I looked to see if this was a troll. They're not. They're not a troll. This is legit. This is an actual thing. Okay, I have to grab something else here, by the way, because I jokingly called them a wine mom. Okay? But when I went back and looked at her profile, I was just I love it so much. I love irony. Irony is the greatest form of comedy. Here, screw it. I'm just gonna show you on Chrome. Let's just switch to this. This is her profile. Okay. Called her a wine mom as a joke. Kids are home. The wine is getting open soon. Literally a wine mom. Literally a wine mom. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. It genuinely frustrates me to no end that I actually sit here, and while I might not be the most attentive parent, I'll fully own up to that. I may not spend as much time doting on my child and playing with my child as actively as I should. I have a lot going on. I have a lot in my life that I have to deal with. But I do spend time with him. Not as much as I would like to, and not as much as I feel I probably should. But I do. And we both love each other very much. As father and son. He's asleep on the couch right now, actually. He fell asleep before I started doing all this. But I know where my responsibilities lie. And apparently that's something that a lot of parents don't actually know, is what your responsibilities actually are. Because we keep seeing these every couple of years. A group of parents starts complaining and whining that not enough was done on behalf of them to protect their kid from things that their kid was going to have access to. Well, don't give your kid unbridled access to the internet. Don't give your kid unbridled. I bought my kid because I have my Nintendo Switch that I've been playing Pokemon on. Okay, I bought it originally so that me and him would both be able to play stuff. I've been letting him play. I bought him a Switch Lite last week from Dead on Dave. Go check out Dead on Dave, by the way. Everybody here should know of Dead on Dave. If you don't know of Dead on Dave, go check out Dead on Dave on Twitch. Go check out Dead on Dave on YouTube. And he also does, you'll see him on Twitter and things like that, where he talks about having the Whatnot shop. And he works at a pawn shop, and they sell things. I bought a Switch Lite from him. Very happy with the purchase. And he's loving it. He is loving it. But you know what? I set it up by default that my account needs my password. And trust me, it's annoying to have to enter my password every single time. But that way he can't make purchases because there's no way he's going to guess my password. He has no access to make purchases because it's through my account. He would have to change from his profile to mine. And then he would also have to know the password and know how to enter the password. And he's never going to find the password. He won't ever have access to the password. This is okay. So let's see. Child clearly had access to the card. She probably put the card in once to make a single purchase and didn't even know it was automatically saved. It's very possible because she doesn't seem very smart. Games shouldn't make automatically save by this point to protect themselves. Yeah, no, I agree with that. It shouldn't automatically be saved. It should always be an option. Should always be an option. Oh yeah, and with that Switch Lite, I also have not installed the browser option. You can have your Nintendo browser option installed. I don't have it on either one of our Switches. I have my phone. I have a browser on my phone I can use. I don't need to use the Switch for my browser, and I'm not giving it to him to use either. So, anyway, all right. I think we'll wrap it up there. I do have a bunch of clips that we can watch that are like I found what is it, Born a Kang? I don't know what it means, but there's an account on Twitter, Born a Kang, that keeps popping up in my feed. There's like tons of like car crashes and stuff like that. We might watch one of those sometime. And I also saw this whole thing between Lil Romeo and his dad. Apparently there's a whole bunch of drama there, but I don't know if I want to talk about it or not. It's just it's wild. It's wild looking at it. So I don't know if I'm going to bother with that or not. But anyway, thank you for watching, everybody. Thank you for hanging out. I'm going to go ahead and sign off for now.
My buddy, Internet Unwind.
Internet Unwind video.
Internet Unwind did a great video about this.
Internet Unwind, dude. Good to see you here, brother.
Internet Unwind, fuck off.
Have a good
You're an
night, everybody.
asshole, Internet Unwind. I never fucking liked you. I always lie.